Yeah, I mean, just first of all, just really appreciate the crowd that we had today. With the striping out, the red and black all across the whole stadium, and it was loud. Great environment for college football. Hosting a ranked team like this, we had phenomenal recruits in the house today. Our best lineup of recruits, and they got to see what we're all about. I think in full form when you think about the whole atmosphere. Playing big-time college football and then going out and playing well and getting a win. So really proud of that. Obviously proud of our guys. I thought, man, they had a great focus throughout the week. The mentality was right where it needed to be. Coming off a huge win on the road in the Big 12 at Kansas, and then to be able to put that one to bed and really focus everything on Iowa State. They did an absolutely great job with that, and I think that showed in the first half. We came out on fire offensively. I thought started with their offensive line, the way they were blocking, coming off the ball, huge runs. Our best running back game we've had this year with Tyree and Evan, just breaking tackles and some huge runs. And then, Sorsby with some timely throws, I thought, throughout the day, and none bigger than the one later late in the game to Goodie. To push it to two-score game, obviously was huge for us on third down. Special teams played really well again today, knocking down field goals, had two big kickoff returns, and then Max pinning that ball on the 1 inch line or whatever it was phenomenal for our special teams effort today. And now, shoot, you're 2-0, and the next one makes it even bigger, next week's what I told them in the locker room. So we'll celebrate this win and then move on to next week.
The last 2 weeks, your team has battled a lot of, we'll call it adversity.
Mm-hmm.
What does it say about your guys that they're not getting frustrated or hanging their head and they're continuing to battle and they're 2-0?
Yeah, I'm getting frustrated though. They can,
adversity.
Yeah, they can be calm and play, and which is great to see. Hey, put the ball down, next play, whatever happens. Then there's a lot of that today, a lot of adversity today with that. But I think we did a great job of overcoming and continue to play the next play. And really and truly, it was really on both sides of the ball. I mean, it was all three phases, quite honestly. But I think for us, it's just doing control the things we can control, and that's going out and playing hard. And we'll let the chips fall where they may. And at some point, maybe that'll go our way. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think each game in its own is different. I think as you look across the landscape of Big 12 football, there's some games where I feel like there's not as much scoring, and then all of a sudden there is a lot of scoring in other games. So I mean, I think it goes back and forth. A lot of it has to do with the matchups that these teams present. But I will say this: the teams that have the veteran quarterbacks, they're going to score points. I mean, it's just hard. It's hard to stop these teams. The way college football is, the way the rules are set up, and if you got a trigger man, you're going to have an opportunity to score points. And there is some teams in this league that play outstanding defense, great defense, and maybe some of those games may be low scoring, but I do think it's hard to contain all the offenses in this league of how good the offenses are.
You knew you might be able to hurt them through the air with their depleted defensive backfield, but did you expect to be able to dominate the line of scrimmage offensively like you did in the first half?
I don't know really what I expected coming into the game, other than we want to try to move the ball. I thought our offense did excellent in the first half, and we didn't punt. We scored, I think, maybe every time we had it. It's hard to get any better than that in the first half. And then the second half, it was – I thought it was a little bit of sail taken out of the offense because, right before half they go down and score, and then they get it back, and I think we got the ball back at 7 minutes to go in the third, or 8 minutes. And, so it felt like, man, it was over an hour since we had the ball, like time-wise. And so it took us a little while in the second half to get back into some rhythm. To their credit, I thought they did a good job of, holding the ball. They went, I don't know how many times they go for it on fourth down. I mean, I felt like 7. That's what I said on the field. That's crazy. Yeah, 7 times. So they just tried to keep the ball and keep getting first downs, and it seemed like, we held them 3 times there on fourth down. That's awesome, So it was just one of those back and forth battles there at the end, and, we hung on to get the victory.
Coach, you mentioned following the Kansas game that victory last week was 2.5 years of the fruits and labor, the hard work going into that victory. Today's a little bit bigger there, obviously. Just walk us through the emotions to see the victory, and then the fans rush the field as well, and what that means to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it was a huge game. I think, number one, it was huge for a couple of reasons. Number one, it was huge because we won last week. You're 1-0 in the Big 12, so that just means when you win, it makes the next one a little bit bigger. Number two, you got a ranked team coming in here, an Iowa State team that the whole league we always respect those guys. I mean, they had the most wins they've ever had last year. They were 5-0 this year. Rocco Beck, man, he is a warrior, and he's a winner and a warrior. And you keep looking up, and he keeps making plays. It's incredible how he continues to be able to do that. And he's got good players around him. They got really good coaches at Iowa State. That's a huge win for us in our program to be able to go, toe-to-toe with a team like that has been, one of the best teams, arguably, the last 10 years in this league. So, proud of our guys for that, and I'm, proud of our fans and our atmosphere that we had today to be able to play in front of that.
Coach, at risk of overgeneralizing, forgive me, but it seems like these last 2 weeks, those are games you guys would have lost the last 2 years. What's different this year?
Yeah, it's a different team. We got different players. We have, I think our recruiting staff did a great job of identifying guys that we needed to bring in. We did a great job of keeping the guys we needed to keep from the last 2 years that were on this team. And then I think our whole program's done a great job of kind of molding this team and getting this team to be a connected team. And in this day and age of portal and all the different moving parts that these teams have now, you want to have a veteran team. You want to have a team that's been scarred together like we have, and you want to have talent. So you want to have all that mixed in there. I think you can look at some of the plays today and some guys that were made today with guys we had before, but then also guys we brought in, Tyree Walker, Caleb Goodie. I mean, these guys are making big time plays for us that go win games. So this is a different team, but also I saw Luke Kandra and DT and John Williams and stuff in the locker room. I'm proud of those guys too, because they helped us get to this point that we're at right now. I mean, it took all of us to get to where we are, to be able to go compete and win these last two games.
I'm not sure if you've seen this, probably not yet, but on the internet over the last 2 weeks, there are a lot of people talking about the glow up of hat sat. Is there any reason that you've made the change from visor to hat?
I think probably the main reason probably getting a little bit older, man. Hair's getting a little thinner. You don't want to be showing that in the back there, with a visor. But we also need a little change up. We need a little spark. We need a little something. So we're gonna go with the hat. Zach questioned it. He didn't know if I really should have done that. But yeah, we went with the hat, and I'm so far it's been pretty good.
They had.
Coach, obviously a lot of big explosive plays for you guys today, but to be able to go 4 for 4 in the red zone, what does that say about this team's finishing ability, especially against a defense like Iowa State?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. Obviously, red zone scoring is big. I think we've been really good this year in the red zone. We've been good, as far as converting that into touchdowns. That's huge. You obviously don't want to try to kick field goals there if you can help it. Sometimes you're going to have to kick some field goals once you get down in there. But you want to get those touchdowns because we mentioned all the scoring that's going on. I mean, you want to score those 7 points and to give yourself a chance to win. But our coaches come up with a good plan, and our kids have been executing. Those game plans in the red zone is huge to be able to get those 7 points.
They had major issues in the kicking game entering this one, obviously, with all the fourth down attempts, the injuries there. And then also it played a factor in the kickoffs with Logan taking advantage of that. Was that something that Coach Pascal maybe kind of knew could be a factor of getting some more opportunity in the kickoff game, and then that creating some short fields for you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. You look at every team you're going to play, and you're going to try to find, all right, where are some deficiencies at? They've had some injuries there at the kicker. As you mentioned, probably while they went for it a few more times on fourth down. And then we felt like we could get an opportunity to return some in the kickoff return game. He's not able to blast it into the end zone, so you got to set that up. The first time we didn't really get much on the first one, but then we were able to hit 2 big ones on there. Yeah, that was Coach Pascal and his special team staff, Tim Connor. They did a great job of scheming that up. Our guys did a good job of executing, and yeah, we got some great yardage there, up close to midfield, I think, on 2 different returns. No, I don't think we think like that. We try to stay in the moment. I think I think if you think like that, then you're setting yourself up. I think for us, it's about our process. It's about celebrating this win today because it was a big win. And then it's about getting in there tomorrow and trying to heal up and then moving forward for our next opponent. So, you can't think like that. You got to think about 1 week at a time and your opponent that you're getting ready to play.
Okay, Scott, seemed like two plays that summed up the game entirely. The 4th and 1 stop at your 16, 3 plays later, obviously Brendan hits Caleb. What do those two plays mean to you? Because I think Marshall was referring to this earlier. Maybe last year against Pitt you could have used one of those big plays, but now to get those plays so close in succession late in games, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it means a great deal. We talk about our team. We learned so much just this season. You think about the Nebraska game. I think that game helped us win last week at Kansas. Well, the Kansas game, probably there's some plays there that helped us win this one. Last week, if you remember, against Kansas, we stopped them on 3rd and short, and then there was a 4th and 1. Felt like we stopped them. Didn't get the mark on that one. And then really and truly, that was a very similar setup today. And our guys, rose up to that challenge and stopped them today. It was huge, and we felt like offensively at that point, we have to go score. We didn't get much on 1st and 2nd down. I think it's 3rd and 7 right there. They presented a coverage that looked enticing to be able to go one-on-one with Goodie. And that was a play where I'm able to tell Sorsby, hey, it's man-to-man, think post. He did a great job of stepping back, putting some air under the ball, and allowing Goodie to go get it. Goodie can fly. And once he put it out there, he went and got it. Man, what a huge play in the game to make it 2 scores. Obviously, you're able to breathe a little bit better once he gets to the 2 scores. But it still wasn't over. We all know. But it was a huge play in the game, those back-to-back sequence. 100% correct. Yeah, so proud of Gavin. Our top leader on our team, captain, been here forever. We joke about it all the time. I think he's been here, 8 years or so. But he's man, such an awesome dude. But he leads those guys up front. He will not settle for anything less than being excellent, and it's showing up. These guys play nasty, they play physical, they take pride in every single thing they do. If they happen to get a penalty, it hurts them. It is like. Those guys, I often think that your offensive line on football teams make your whole team go. They set the identity of your team. How nasty are they? How physical are they? Well, then the rest of your team better be that way if they want to hang. And they're showing that week in and week out. I thought they had played another outstanding game today against one of the top defenses in the country.
Coach, obviously Dante comes back on a snap count today. Just how exciting was it to see him run around and make some plays today, and how big of a piece was that for this defense today?
Oh, that's a huge boost for us to be able to get the big boy out there. And he's worked his butt off the last 3 weeks to try to get healthy and to be able to get out there. And we're last week we were questionable. This week we were. It was all the way up to game time. We certainly don't want to put him out there and put him in harm's way. But our training staff and Aaron and Himler, they're the best in the country. They do a phenomenal job caring for our athletes. To get him ready to go in that period of time with that injury, was phenomenal, and it's credit to all those guys. But to be able to have it, no matter, I don't even know how many snaps he had, but if it's 1 or 2 snaps, it's worth it to have him out there, because he's going to plug that A gap, and there's not going to be anywhere to go, and that's going to free up everybody else. But it's awesome to see him, finally get back out there and help us, and hopefully, he come out unscathed today, and to be able to heal up a little bit more as we go through next week.
Speaking of freeing up everybody else, Jalen Hunt has played well so far this year, but maybe hasn't had the statistical accolades to go with that. How good was it for him today to be as active as he was and be in on as many plays as he was?
Yeah, he was all over the place today. Every time you looked up, Big 90 was making a play, including a big sack. And, he's had a great offseason for us. And really and truly, I go back to last year, man. In the spring, I thought, man, this guy's going to really help us. And then he gets the injury and he missed all last year. He's so valuable because he can play nose, he can play tackle, field, and boundary. He's a 310-pound guy that's very light on his feet, has very good quickness, and he's another one. He has worked so hard to get to this point right here. I'm so proud of him to be able to watch him make plays now, and that was fun today. It was his best game he's played. It was awesome.
I know it's a team game, but is it a little monkey off your back to beat Matt Campbell and you and Tyson Bite with all the ties that you guys have to them?
Yeah, I love Matt. He's awesome. As I've said this week, I think he's one of the best coaches in the country. He does an outstanding job. But absolutely, it's fun to be able to compete against him and to finally get a win. He's had our number, but all the respect in the world for him. He knows that, and man, he does such a great job. So, that's why you're proud of this team and to be able to go out there and compete and win that game.
What went through your head when you saw Tawi chuck that Iowa State defender.
Yeah, I mean, even before that, I was like, man, he's looking like a beast mode out there today. I mean, he was running through guys, a man on a mission, refusing to go down. I mean, I don't know what got into him, but he needs whatever he ate for pregame meal, needs to eat it again. He's a beast, we've been seeing that in him, and for it to come out today was awesome. Him and Pryor both, I thought, were great 1-2 punches today, and really made some great plays for us.
Coming into the game, their average starting position was their 38-yard line, which is absurd.
Yeah.
How much did you guys talk about that, limiting their field position, kind of keeping them from getting those starts where they're already kind of at midfield, and then how big was that fletch punt to the one to throw them off?
Yeah, I mean, like as I mentioned, the margins are so small in this league. You can't just rely on offense and defense. You will get beat, and that's reason why we're so proud of our special team units, how good they've been this year, how we cover, how well they kick, obviously, but it's really the other guys too, how well they cover, how well they block, on the returns, and to try to win the field position. We talk about it every week. We come into our team room on Sunday and we'll put up the hidden yardage. Like who won those hidden yardage right there in the field position, because they will help you win. And the field position that we started at today felt really good for us, and then obviously not for them. When you start on -1, that's no fun. And I remember it was last year or 2 years ago, we didn't start. It was like 7 straight games. We didn't start on the other side of the field in 7 straight games. It is very difficult to score points that way when you have to drive the whole field. And I think that's the reason why they had so many 3rd and 4th downs there, because you got to drive the field. It's hard, and then it gives you more opportunity to stop them. We stopped them 3 times on 4th down. It's big.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks, guys.
For 1 yard prior to that play, how tough is it to stay engaged, stay focused, and kind of just keep telling yourself, like, my opportunity is going to come, and then boom, it happens?
Yes, sir. I would say that's the biggest thing that I learned in college so far, is like you get limited opportunities. So even if your opportunity don't come the first 2 quarters, just stay ready for whenever it comes so you can make the play. Because I wasn't ready one time and I ain't make the play, so now I just stay ready.
What were you thinking as you're pulling away and then you're running right up to that student section? And I don't know what you did there. I probably don't have that move myself, but it looked nice.
Nah, before the play was called, when the play was called on the field, I was just thinking touchdown. That's all I was thinking.
What kind of leadership or communication did you see from Brendan on the sideline, especially in the second half when there was such a dry spell after the first half?
Just stay locked in, stay poised, stay in the moment. Don't try to overdo it. Don't try to do somebody else's job. Just do your job and stay focused.
What's going through your head? Because it looked like you were winning your matchups over and over and over again today, but you just weren't getting the ball. I know you said you got to be patient, but how do you prevent yourself from getting frustrated when that's happening?
I would say it's kind of hard, but I like to win too, so we win and I won't pout. So.
Caleb, walk us through your reaction on seeing the crowd there and their stripe out, and then obviously seeing them rush the field. What was that moment like for you?
Nah, it's crazy because I ain't never been a part of this, so I was happy. I was excited myself. The crowd picked me up. I ain't never had that happen before.
How does it feel to see your talent kind of translate from the Group of 5 level up to Power 4?
I feel amazing because it was like I feel like I was being hidden, and now I'm finally starting to get to show what I can do.
Do you know every time they call like in your brain, every time they call a post route, are you like, a touchdown?
I take a deep breath and I say, let's go.
Thanks, Caleb.
Thank y'all. Nice to meet you.
Evan, you played a lot of football. It's your first 2 touchdown games, so tell me about that.
Yeah, no, I felt good, man. I mean, not much of a difference from one score, just an opportunity for me to help my team, honestly.
How different has it felt this year with the way that this offensive line is playing? Does it feel like just get to the line and they're gonna make something happen for you?
Yeah, for sure. In the running back room, we got a lot of trust in those guys up front. So we just do our part. Stand on track, things like that. And let them take care of the rest. We know they're gonna get us to the 2nd, 3rd level. We just gotta be great from there.
Do you always get really excited when they call that counter play because you were so dangerous on it last year? I think that might have been one of the first times you broke a big run on it this year.
Yeah, really anything. I try not to box myself in too much, when it comes to like certain run plays and calls, things like that. Just try to, fit it to myself, in terms of how can I make this play a touchdown.
What's your reaction on the sideline when Tyree does that to somebody?
First reaction is like, golly, like, bro just lowers his shoulder like that and just literally runs through a human, like, but then after that it's like, all right, like, I can't wait to get out there too, like, that's a good thing, me and Three got going, we've developed, a real good friendship, since he arrived here. And even day in, day out in practice, we compete with each other, I'll have a good run, he'll have a good run, we go back and forth, we feed off of each other, so that's something that's going to help this team in the long run down the line.
You got that in your game? Run somebody over like that?
I do. I just, I prefer to see 6 points on the board, so I'm going to keep doing that.
Evan, talk about the offensive line too. Obviously, talk about the job they've done today to allow you to have the game that you had. Obviously, your first 2 runs went for the 30-yard touchdown. Second run went for 21. What was the offensive line doing so well that allowed you to get going and have the day like you had today?
Really just the mindset those dudes come in with, like literally every week. Something they say before the game is that they can't stop us, and everyone probably says that around the country, but like those dudes truly believe it, and it shows, not only when I touch the ball, but when Three touches the ball or Sorsby keeps it, things like that. So, I just believe in those guys, man, and for the rest of it, just trusting my ability.
Along those same lines, how important is it, Evan, when you guys are demonstrating you're more physical than the opponent, you're exerting your will over them, if you will, to start this game? It seemed like the offensive line, that bled over into the defense with big hits. It seemed like you guys won the line of scrimmage both sides.
Yeah, for sure, and then when you see you can do that to a team, you start to kind of like lick your lips a little bit and like really get excited because obviously, there's scheme and things that goes into football, but when you line up across from someone and you just know that they can't do anything, to stop you or the guys next to you, it brings a different level of confidence. So we just got to keep building off of it.
On your second touchdown, you showed a lot of strength at the goal line. Was that something that that you wanted to show? I'm not showing something that you wanted is a new part to your game because you're just.
Yeah, not really. I wouldn't say a new part. I feel like last year the role I had was just more so, being a change of pace dude, come in and make a big play, So a lot of the other things, that I've worked on to round out my game wasn't really put on display too much, So this entire year, I've been focused and honing in on, displaying things like that, breaking tackles, making guys miss on the third level, things like that. So, I've been working on it. I'm glad y'all are able to see it and notice that as well.
You were a part of some tough losses last year. Between this week and last week, these seem like games last year the Bearcats lose. What's different about this team this year that you're able to come away with 2 back-to-back wins?
Yeah, we got some new pieces, but for the main part, our whole team is back. So a lot of the situations we see ourselves in this year, we saw ourselves in last year. So that's the difference. We can look at a situation like today going up big in halftime and knowing how Pitt worked out last year, it's huge, when you have that confidence and that experience in the back of your mind to be able to know, yeah, we're up 31-7, but it doesn't really mean anything to the clock is 0-0. So, that's something we preached at halftime and any situation we're in, we feel like we've seen a lot of looks, a lot of things, from last season. So we're just going to keep building off of that.
Evan, you're pass blocking a lot better this year. You've obviously taken on an even larger role. Are you really happy with the way you approach this offseason and the way that this has just culminated in you being not a change of pace back anymore, but literally a 1-2 punch, thunder with Tawee?
Yeah, for sure. That's all I've asked from this team. These coaches and the strength staff and my development. To help do things like that, get me stronger, so I can round my game out, things like that. So. There's really not too many situations where it's like, all right, let's bring 6 off the field because he's lacking there, or vice versa. So it's good that have that trust with the coaches and my teammates as well to just be out there in any situation.
Kind of piggybacking off of Marshall's questions, obviously now being here for your second season, talk about the environment today and what it was like to kind of see all that fruit and labor kind of pay off in a game like this afternoon, to see the fans rush the field. Talk about the process this last year and a half has been for you.
Yeah, I've never been a part of a stripe out, so it was cool to look up in the stands and see that. And then just having the crowd into it, how they were, having them behind our back is a huge advantage for us, So it was just huge, and then games like this, I can barely sleep the night before anyway, so it was no problem getting up and making a play today. I'm sure all the guys felt that way.
Are Brendan or Tawi Walker going to blame you for the option fumble, saying that the hips weren't there, or that it was your play and not Tawi's play, or something like that again?
Yeah, I caught a small cramp the play before, so I don't know. Maybe I would have been in on that play or not, but we trust in we can make that play. Just didn't make that play right then, but we can make that play for sure.
Is that first half maybe the hottest you've felt this offense in your time here so far?
Yeah, I mean, it was like every time we went out there, similar to Kansas, like we just have a sense of confidence about us that we're going to find a way to just continue to convert and move the chains and, find a way to put points on the board. The first half was very fun and we were moving the ball at will, it seemed like. And then they came out in the second half and made a ton of adjustments. And obviously it's kind of that fine line of you're trying to manage the clock and all that stuff that goes into it. But, we end up finding a way to pull it out, and that's a massive win.
How about the feeling before you throw to Goodie and things are getting kind of tight there, then that opens up the game and you're able to breathe a little bit?
Yeah, we had, a little bit of adversity going against us, just with everything going on. And then, finally to hit a big one and kind of open it back up was a really good feeling. So the feeling was definitely better after, Goodie crossed the plane for sure. Yeah, I did. I got onto him on the sideline too. It looked like he was kind of jogging early on. I got onto him. I said, Goodie, that's just never supposed to happen. I'm never supposed to be able to overthrow you. So I gave him a hard time about it. And, luckily we got it back later in the game.
I asked Caleb this, but what were the conversations and communication like from you on the sideline during that second half when you're coming off such a high-powered first half? What are you telling the guys to stay up?
We just got to find a way to, get back to our first half mentality, because obviously there was some stuff going against us. You had the option fumble. That's just, out of character for us, as a team. We pride ourselves on not turning the ball over, and, that's the type of stuff that, we know that we can't have. Right after, mistakes like that and, just 3 and outs, whatever it may be, we just got to, lock it back in and find a way to get a drive going and go put points on the board.
Brendan, on one of the opening drives, when Tawi runs that guy over, you kind of turned to the student section and pumped him up a little bit. Just your thoughts on Tawi running that guy over, and then what's your thought on the environment this afternoon?
The environment was great, much needed. I think it was a huge factor in this win. And then, yeah, that was an unbelievable truck. And one of the best, probably the best that I've ever seen. It was unbelievable. So props to Tawi for sure.
Brendan, last year you guys lost a lot of tough games. It's felt like this week and last week were 2 games that you guys would have likely lost last season. What's different about this year?
Just the culture is, 100% established, it seems like. We believe in each other to go make the plays. We believe in, each unit out there to pick each other up if one of them is struggling. And then, I think just the leadership just across the team. It doesn't have to just be the captains. It can literally be anybody on the team. And, we trust each other wholeheartedly, and, we're willing to go out there and do whatever it takes to win.
A big part of composure, obviously, Brendan, a big part of winning is composure, I should say. When those penalties happen, and it looked like I think you had 3 first downs called back in 5 snaps, how did you guys manage to keep your composure?
It was just little mistakes, and that's just something that you can fix. So that was what we preached on the sideline was, hey, if we have this play called, you cannot do this. Like, it just is what it is. And we got that fixed immediately. And, it's unfortunate to have 3 penalties in 5 plays, but the response that we had was very impressive. I'm very proud of our team for it. Yeah, no, they're balling right now up front, not allowing much pressure at all, giving me the time that I need, and then clearing some run lanes for our backs and even myself. So, very proud of those guys up front, and going to continue to treat them well for sure.
Was there anything kind of that was off with your kind of downfield accuracy today? Was there anything that you kind of felt, or was it just one of those days where you only throw the ball 25 times? It can't be necessarily right on point every 25 throw set.
Not necessarily, either of those. I would say just more so we knew that they were going to be bailing, so just trying to put it out there more. Didn't really want to underthrow anything. So, that could have a little bit to do with the overthrows. And then, like you said, like we have some serious speed, so just trying to put it out there for the guys and let them go make plays. And then just got to clean up a little bit of stuff in the pocket, getting a little antsy, on a couple of snaps that ended up leading to some high throws. But other than that, I feel like it was a really clean game offensively. Besides the turnover and a couple of missed throws, I feel like we executed really well. I would say just, our belief in each other, the staff's belief in me. Everybody knew, after that loss to Nebraska on the road, as a home game, but on the road, we believed that we could still go achieve everything that was in front of us. It was a tough loss, not the way we wanted to go out. We played about as bad as we could have, shot ourselves in the foot time and time again. And whenever the opportunity presented itself, we had a mistake, an interception. It felt good to get it back this week, and just continue to trust my guys. I'm going to give them chances to go make plays, and I have full trust in them to go make those plays. So props to Goodie for putting it away for us today, and got to keep this thing rolling.
If you were completely honest on that third down completion to Noah on the right side, do you think you deserve the credit for the throw, or does he deserve the credit for the catch?
Oh, he deserves credit for the catch. Like, that's not even a quarterback. We had not repped that at all and throughout the week, so that was just one of those just playing ball moments. Great catch by him. I honestly couldn't really tell. He was so close to the sideline. I was like, we gotta go, gotta get a play off just in case. And then I kind of peeked up at the jumbotron. I was like, all right, no, we're good. So unbelievable catch by him, and it was a huge conversion for us.
When the Red Sea parted there on that fourth down play, did I see a high step into the end zone?
Yeah, I did, and then I was like, oh my gosh, dude. I think I couldn't remember if they've been strict on a little bit of a little showboating, if it was gonna get called back. So I tried to reel it back in really quick, and I was like, I started feeling myself, and I haven't had, it's just so tough to have that much grass to run through. So yeah, no, I started high stepping for sure, and then started feeling myself. I was like, all right, calm it down, Brendan. So we brought it back. That is very true, and that could be why they do like me a lot more whenever I'm feeding them. So I'm going to continue to do that. Like I said, no, they're doing a great job, and they're a huge reason for our success right now. Probably the biggest reason, honestly. Whenever you're protected and you don't ever fall behind the chains too much, it's really easy to continue to move the chains and stay ahead of them and go put points on the board. So props to those guys. I'm going to continue to take good care of them. They're all usually pretty equal. They just forget completely about the value of a U.S. dollar. You know what I'm saying? They usually just start going crazy. So we're just going to call it 5 across the board, pretty even. They lose all train of thought whenever it comes to ordering. So those boys pretty much get whatever they want. So they're spoiled for sure whenever they walk into Ruby's.
Good stuff in a minute, but do you feel like you probably should have had 2 interceptions today?
Yeah, it's always tough, especially that first one. I felt like I should have probably brought 2 hands to the party and got that one, or just kept my footing after I tipped it, tried to tip it to myself, lost my footing, wasn't able to make the play. And the second one, that was a little bit out of my reach, but got to make those plays.
How's a game like that feel? The yellow flags are going left and right. Those guys are going to need Tommy John surgery. But yeah, it's kind of like last week. You have to keep going and keep playing, and you've gotten 2 pretty crucial wins.
Exactly what you just said. You can't let the refs dictate the game. You just got to keep playing. Yeah, I don't know what we did to the refs. So yeah, but yeah, we just got to keep battling back.
How much better do you think you are this year compared to last year, specifically at shedding blocks? Because it feels like in those big plays on third downs that you're making those plays to get tackles.
Yeah, that was a big point of emphasis for this offseason. Was just getting off blocks, because if you're on a block, you're not gonna be able to make the play. So that was a big point of emphasis that I worked with my position coach, Coach Braz, every single day, and even after practice, getting extra reps at it. And I think it's working for me.
Jake, obviously you come from a smaller school in Central Arkansas. Talk about the moment to A, get the victory over a ranked Iowa State, and then B, to see the fans after the stripe out rush the field. Talk about that moment for you.
Yeah, it was a blessing. I saw that they were getting ready to rush the field on the last drive. Going out there, just had to make sure that we got that last stop, and I knew it was coming. As soon as we got that last stop, tight end ran out of bounds with no time left, and here they came. It was an awesome feeling, something I've never experienced before, so it was really great.
What's the vibes in the locker room? I mean, obviously you guys are focused on next week, but just how does it feel to be at this point 4-1 and 2-0 in the Big 12?
Yeah, I think we're going to celebrate this win tonight for sure. Big game, big win. We had to get it done. I think we all had all the confidence in the world coming into the game to know that we were going to dominate this game. Hard-fought game. We knew it was going to take four quarters. But yeah, like you said, it's on the next week after today, and we got to get ready for UCF.
You mentioned facing some adversity in this one. Obviously, Simeon gets disqualified for the targeting call. As a veteran guy, what was your message to him, and what was your conversations like to keep that linebacker room intact there, especially in the second half?
Yeah, I didn't get to see the play actually happen, but I watched it in person, so I don't know. It might have been different, but I thought it was a clean hit. The refs probably got it right. I'm not saying that they didn't, but yeah, you just got to go up to that guy. I mean, he made a great play. I mean, that's exactly what you want to do. Obviously, if he did leave with his crown, you don't want that. But just keep him up because we're gonna need him next week. And then for the rest of the guys, just next man up mentality. We got to fill in where we can. Like I was playing a lot of will today. I wasn't expecting to play a lot of will, but we were prepared for that.
How good did it feel to not be a cheerleader this week?
Yeah, it's a lot of work been put into this, like all them nights staying over to 8 o'clock, doing red light bed, everything I can possibly do, massages on my ankle and stuff like that to get a chance to play. Not guaranteed, but see how I feel today, and I felt great. Just proud of my team, man. Like, man, we be doubted all the time. Like, it's just crazy how they doubt us, but I think it just feels like every time, like, our offense carries us every time, but our defense got to step up more. I'm so proud of our guys on defense. Certain situations on defense, third downs, get off the field, fourth downs, get off the field. So just building on this, not being, necessarily like we're gonna be happy to celebrate this, but back to work. Just learn our lessons from last year, being a good team from Arizona State, and then not winning the game after that. So just keep harping into our guys the next week. Every week is important if we keep winning. So
before that fourth down stop, you turned around and were raising your hands to the crowd and all that. Big play in the game. How did that feel for you and Jalen to get in there? Because that's a crucial play. That's a possible score there.
Well, yeah, it's a sold-out crowd. I'm like, do your job, too. We all play a part to win a football game. So if the crowd sold out, I need to hear them loud every play, not just third down. But, that fourth down, just know what their tendencies was. If they got and then 4-point stance for the offensive lineman, we know it's a sneak. So me and Hunt and I think Michael was out there. We recognized it and we called it out, and then we stopped it. So I think that was a huge stop.
Jake said that you guys had the attitude that you're going to come in and dominate. What's it feel like to go through the last 2 years of when you guys, if you won, you were probably an underdog and it was an upset, to now having that attitude of, we're going to go out and beat this team?
Well, yeah, losing come with it, I know Coach Sack get a bad knock from the fans, but all that struggle and losses came to the point of today. Like, all them life lessons we learned as far as, like, giving up a pit, 20-point lead, like, stuff like that's coming to this season. Like, all our life lessons happened from the last 2 seasons going to help us win this season, just knowing what we got to work on. Like, fourth quarter, we got to finish. Off season, harped on finishing games. So, like, doing the 17 gassers and stuff like that paid off.
Dante, you've been here now 6 years, obviously 5 years. 5 years.
Hold up, brother.
So 5 years, obviously the last time the fans rushed the field was the AAC championship game. Talk about the stripe out and then what it was like to see those fans back on the field today after this victory.
Well, freshman year, I was just enjoying the ride, just like Ahmad and them, just all the greatness we have in that team. And then now just seeing all my hard work paid off, losing all the weight so I can be able to play the next year. Just every day, just don't take it for granted, man. That's what I'm learning this year.
Dante, no one knows this locker room from the phases of it over the years better than you. No one knows the fan base better than you. You said about how Coach Sack catches flack from the fans. Last year and maybe 2 years ago, even 3 years ago, these last 2 weeks, those are games you guys probably lose.
Yeah.
What's different about this year?
Man, just the DNA we brought in, the guys we had back from injuries like Michael Coleman and Jay Hunt, like, we was so banged up last year, but we didn't make it an excuse. We fought our butt off. But this year, our team, man, it's just a different feeling, Just the look on their faces says it all. Like, last year team would have definitely folded as soon as they scored a touchdown. We're up. So I've definitely seen that today. And just Sorsby, bro, like, that's what we've been missing since Desmond Ritter, like, the leadership, like, him coming to pump us up before that big drive we stopped. So it's just the leadership on this team goes a long way.
Dante, you're a serious guy. I know you're going to thinking about next week already, but what are you going to do to enjoy this big win?
Brother, I'm going home. That Tylenol and stuff wore off, man. I'm going home.
So you're going to ice up then, pretty much?
Yeah. Get ready for next week. Nothing special, bro.